this computer. Good evening, town fans. Your eyes do not deceive you. Fyfie has not grown uglier overnight. Fyfie is unable to join us tonight because he's actually traveling down to Swindon, which is really unusual given that we are away to Salford tomorrow. So tonight I am your host, which means you're not going to get ridiculous tactical analysis from me. But we did feel that we do need to give a bit of a talk about Tranmere and a pre-Salford session as well. So with me tonight, we've got Ben, Ned and Rich. Evening, guys.
Evening.
So to start with then, Tranmere 0-0. My little overview, probably the best 0-0 draw I've ever watched, if I'm brutally honest. We were all over him, weren't we? Ben, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it was quite a good performance. It was better than I thought. I said before the game, I thought it would be pretty much a bit like Carlisle, a bit disjointed, and if we were lucky, we might get away with a draw. But yeah, I think we dominated large parts of the game. It's a giveaway when the Tranmere fans vote their keeper as man of the match. And I think the Swindon run away comfortable to say 2-0 winners. I think it would have been a fair reflection of the game. Even Mickey Bell at the end of the game said it was, it was a pretty much a hard-fought tussle with two pretty good teams in the division. I was really, really enjoyed the game, and I was really heartened by performance.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody got the prediction right. I don't think anybody predicted 0-0, did they? But equally, I think I do remember saying that I noticed that Tranmere hadn't scored that many so far this season. Ned, besides the obvious, were we missing anything else against Tranmere?
I'll just read out a few of my thoughts, if that's right.
Go for it. That's what everybody tunes in for.
Right. So, can I just ask my daughter to leave? Can you please leave? Thank you.
How could you?
Plus 18 scout report.
Right. So, my thoughts were some great build-up play. I thought Payne was playing out of his skin. Simpson playing infinitely better on Saturday. Simpson playing infinitely better.
Playing better than we did
Saturday. I didn't even read his own notes.
Play better than Saturday, I'm guessing.
Special mention to Harry. Full debut, doesn't look out of place at all. McCurdy has more freedom than Saturday. He looked a real threat. If we keep playing like this all season, we'll be putting 5 past some teams once we have a bit of confidence front the goal. I thought we were using my notes are a bit rubbish, obviously, because they're mine. But
never.
To be fair, I'd be the same. To be fair, now. Yeah. Can't even read my own handwriting.
I put referring to the Swindon sort of like midfield and forwards. I put they're using their pace to much better effect against Tranmere, not letting them use their defensive nous and shithousery that they allowed Carlisle to do. However, there was quite a few mistakes and some reckless passes. That's the only thing that hasn't been resolved from the Carlisle fixture, but that will take time. I've then written Johnny fucking Williams about 7 times. I like the look of bringing on Gladwin rather than starting him. I think he's more effective as a substitute. When the game starts to stretch, Gladwin could take more time on the ball and pick those passes, and also sometimes increase the pace by moving the ball quickly. I absolutely love this. Johnny fucking Williams, Johnny fucking Williams, Johnny fucking Williams. We deserve more.
Do you like Johnny Williams, then?
Sure. You want if I just cut in a second, and just for a special note about Harry Parsons' performance. Now, this first 15 minutes, I thought he was looking a little bit out of depth. But after that, I think there was one moment where he received the ball on the halfway line, beat a couple of players and shot from 20 yards straight down the keeper's throat. And from that moment, you saw him grow. And what he did amazingly well was find that little pocket of space between the back 4 and the midfield 4. And he caused them all sorts of havoc throughout the game. I mean, he was really, really good, arguably our man of the match on the way he played, because he did not look like a 19-year-old making his first real full first team debut in front of a big crowd. He looked on it and he looked really good, to the fact that I would play him ahead of Gladwin now. And Ned, absolutely right. Gladwin off the bench, because Harry Parsons, he looks a player. And for the town end to start singing Harry Parsons, he's one of our own, in chorus, to sing that. And he was just getting better and loving it with it. So sorry to interrupt, but when you brought him up, yeah, he was a big factor in the game, in my opinion. But yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, I went on Tuesday. I think Parsons did really well. I do like the idea of maybe him not starting every game, but every other game. Potentially on a rotation with Gladwin, I think could work. Rich, on that point, obviously, I'll ask you as well in terms of what your thoughts of the game as a whole were. But in terms of individual performances, we've spoken a little bit about Parsons, a great debut for him. Somebody who's really split social media, I think, was the player of the match, Anthony Grant. There's been a few people that have really not rated him on Tuesday and thought that, I think there was a couple of misplaced passes that might have cost us stuff. But equally, as well, and I'm going to test you with this one as well, Tyree Simpson, Ned was right. He looked a lot better on Tuesday, even though he didn't score. Is he going to give us something else as opposed to scoring?
Do you know, I think one thing that we're quite missing is just that player that can just run in and out of the wings and try and get that ball placed to Simpson's feet. That's all he needs. That's all he needs. I know Kessler's offered that when he's playing. Obviously, we were without him on Tuesday, but maybe Mitchell Lawson might be that player. Obviously, we've just signed him from Derby the other day, and I think that burst of pace further up pitch, because I know I'm still trying to figure out Garner's formation. I believe it's a 3-5-2, and I just think maybe that player just further up the pitch possibly might be able to offer him something, whereas obviously Kessler is coming from a deep position and he's obviously running with the ball the whole time, and whether or not he can pass it, whether or not Tyree Simpson can get to it, whether or not because they're not talking, they're both on the other side of the pitch. If he's got somebody up there that has got the pace up there, then I reckon they'll be able to they might be able to work something out, but it's difficult. Anthony Grant, on the other hand, for everything that he's done the last 2 seasons, and for people to be criticizing him, he's another year older, for goodness sake, but he still looks on it. A couple of misplaced passes, you've got to accept that. You've got to expect it as well. And I think people to criticize him, if he's doing it constantly, fair enough. Maybe it's time to hang up your boots. But I think what he offered us on Tuesday and what he did by just getting stuck in and everything like that. And I listened to his chat with Evo Graham the other day. And one thing he said, and obviously we've got Kane Kessler, he's only 18 years of age. And one thing he said, he's my little brother. He's looking after him while he's in the club and everything like that. And that's what a leader does. I know he's not our captain, but at the end of the day, he loves this club. He loves playing for this club. And I tell you what, I don't care what people say. He was man of the match. He was, a contender for man of the match, definitely on Tuesday night.
And Ben, on that subject, speaking of captains, Conroy, I think in particular had a very good game on Tuesday. We can't really moan too much, can we? A clean sheet. They've done the job they needed to.
No, I think we gave Tranmere 2 decent chances all game. They really should have scored, but I think other than that, I think we were solid. I think the 2 centre-backs were absolutely brilliant. I gave Conroy a bit of stick on Saturday, and he should put me in my place. I think he looked solid. He looked Conroy of old. And if he carries on like that, then my captain. Absolutely brilliant. He looked calm, he looked assured, he was in full control, and he withheld anything that Tranmere could hold at them. Him and Critchlow were fantastic. So
I thought Critchlow had a very, very good game on Tuesday night. I think he looks solid, and he looks as if that he can win every single header that comes his way. He's always up there, and he's always winning them balls. And it was the same. We seem to just get great centre halves from Huddersfield. They seem to just feed it to us. Obviously, Edmonds Green 2 years ago, quality, and he's gone to play for the first team now. Huddersfield fans rated Crinchlow when he came to us, and he was unlucky not to be in their first team. So I'm surprised he's not at a League One club, to be quite honest with you. So I'm very happy that we've got a good, solid young defender playing for us as well.
And Ned, probably involving your report a little bit, but I'm sure a lot of Swindon fans are asking at the moment, what does Ellis have to do to start? He started against Scunthorpe, and I think I was up there with Rich, and I would say arguably one of our best players against Scunthorpe. What does he have to do to get into the starting lineup?
Well, he's done everything he can do so far, hasn't he? I mean, he's looked so good when he's come on. I think, if I'm honest, I think it's probably being used as a bit of an impact sort of substitute. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like he's, been outshone by any other fullbacks. He's, whenever he's come on, he's made a massive, massive difference. And as I said before in the last pod, he puts 90% of his balls in the sweet spot. So he can't physically do any more. But at home, it seems as if we're using him as an impact sub, and maybe against Salford he might get a run out because that's the last game he got. His run out was an away game, wasn't it? So maybe that's the key. That's the plan.
I
think he played against Cambridge. I think he started against Cambridge.
Oh, did he? I don't pay attention to the League Cup because I'm a diehard Swindon fan.
Yeah, we don't get very far.
And sticking with you, Ned, this week transfer news: Jaden Mitchell-Lawson from Derby, obviously originally from us. Interesting, I noticed on the website earlier they've labelled him as an attacker. Now, when the In the Know accounts were saying we were going to sign him, it was signing midfielder Mitchell-Lawson. Do you reckon Garner's got something up his sleeve?
Well, there's an obvious plan there. I mean, I heard the interview with him and Ryan Walker, and there must be some. He's obviously got some form of a plan, or it's just him saying, "Oh, we've got another striker, so if we don't get this other one that we're looking at, then it's not the end of the world because we have got another striker." So it's kind of like a safety net that he's using. But there's obviously a plan there. I haven't seen enough of him to say, oh yeah, he's a great striker. But I think I certainly would. If you're a winger, I would class him more of as a midfielder than a striker, personally.
To be fair, I think he was playing as a forward when he was playing for Bristol Rovers, actually.
Okay.
A couple of I've seen a couple of bits and pieces. Now, obviously, it's very hard to judge by just very small highlights, sort of thing like that.
And the fact he was at Bristol Rovers.
And the fact, yeah. But I think he scored a few goals for them as well. I think he scored about four goals for them over his two spells with Bristol Rovers. And now, whether or not he played I think he's quite an adaptable player. He can probably play anywhere across the forward line, and maybe just behind. So I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see, and it'd be interesting to see if he is part of that 3-5-2. Play up front, smaller, faster player up front with Tyree Simpson. Might work.
I mean, you could certainly see him factor in a 3-5-2, but we sort of have this one up front sort of role at the county ground, don't we? We seem to have the sole striker and then the wingers coming in. So I just can't see him fitting into that. But as a 3-5-2 for sure, absolutely.
And Ben, so Rich obviously put into our WhatsApp group. He was the In the Know when I think it was a few days before, or claimed to be reading off Instagram. What were your thoughts when we signed our 4,686th midfielder?
Yeah, I think, my ideal of him, he's an attacking mid, and we generally play 3 of them, and we've now got 6, so each one's got cover. I think where you've got Gladwin You've got Williams, and you've got Payne. You've now got McCurdy. You've got this Mitchell Lawson, and you've got Harry Parsons. So I think that's the thinking. It's just they've got each one, and they can rotate those 6. I think he is versatile, so he can play up front if he needs to be. What was interesting about it, because I've not seen him play, so I can't comment on how he plays. But what was interesting, someone posted, so I retweeted it. When he got signed on loan for the second time, and the Bristol Rovers reaction, and it's on my timeline, and they're reacting like they just signed the Ginger Pele. They were going on about, oh, we'll smash this Tin Pot League and HMS will piss the league and all that. And so he must have something about him during his first spell for them to get so excited in League One. So I think this player's got ability, but I think the second period he was hampered with injuries, which I think is over now. I don't know, but he sounds pretty excited.
Garner says he's out for a couple of games, I think.
Yeah, which I think it wouldn't be unusual to have a Swindon player out.
Another injury-prone player.
Ben, I know we obviously we've got a WhatsApp chat, all of us offline. But what are we missing now? What do you reckon? Are we looking for more experience? Are we looking for youngsters? Are we looking for experience in certain positions?
Well, we certainly don't need any more midfielders. I think personally, I think we're missing that marquee striker, that out and out top goal scorer, Owen Doyle-esque type player. That is separating from being mid-table to be a genuine top 7 contender. Is that player that's going to bang in 20 to 25 goals this season? We've got the players to create, got plenty of that. We've got players who can win the ball, battle, win matches, ugly games, but we need that goal scorer. We haven't got that yet. We need that. I said this before, I'd still like a centre-back, 33, ex-championship, who could possibly work, because I'm not sure about Baldry, but obviously I've got more confidence in Conroy after the other day, and another left-back. I prefer Hunt as a right-back and cover right-back, and Odemeo more of a centre-back. And I think we need another outright left-back just to challenge Ian Dollo. And I think Ian Dollo at this moment of time he deserves to be, and I don't know why he's not our number 1 left back. Maybe it's because Garner thinks that Hunt's better defensively or not. I don't know. But yeah, we could do another left back. But then I think we're set for the season. I don't think we need anything else because we've got strength and depth, and we've still got some loan players to use up as well. So we've not relied on loan players, which I think no one's really picked up on that. Usually season after season, we've got 5 loan players and they're our 5 best players. But it's not happened this year, which is really good. So yeah.
And Rich, just before you went offline there, you kind of had a Frozen Smithers-esque kind of sat there looking like that before you froze. So I wondered if you were thinking so we were talking last time about August, not, is it a pre-season kind of month for us? But when do you think we need to have our squad in place? Do we need it before the end of August? Do we need, are we going to go straight to deadline?
Well, ideally, we want it all done before deadline day. Although I think Garner wants that as well. I don't think Garner wants to be scrambling on deadline day, and I don't think we will be, and I don't think we need to be either. We've got a good chunk of players. We've got a good amount of varying ages in the team as well. We've got youngsters if we really need to, call on them. And I think they're all very highly thought of. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been given squad numbers. So Garner did also say that he wanted Cal Meadow and all that to be playing in the EFL Trophy games coming up, which would be great for them. And it might put them in contention, so I think that's one good thing about us at the moment is that we are going to give youth a chance, hopefully, when we need to, and we don't have to solely unless we're really struggling, solely call up on an emergency loan. And that's not what we want. We don't want that this season. We want to have a squad in place. And I think he's already said that we've got a good chunk of players anyway, and we only need to add one or two maybe if we really need to. What Ben was saying there is we haven't gone completely out in the loan market this season, which is really good, as he said. But if we did really need a loan player, we've got the space to do it. We've got, I think, two loan spaces left.
Yeah.
So that actually builds a good platform for us, to be honest with you. And it is good that we've taken advantage for all the frees that are available, considering the transfer embargo we're currently still in. I like the squad that we've got. And I think the loan players that we have got, again, not so sure about Simpson as of yet, but hopefully he will prove to be a decent loan player. But you look at Kessler and Crinchlow, both really good players, both proven in the few games that they've played already. So, exciting times, and hopefully the squad will start to come together maybe after the next couple of games or so. I think they just really need to gel, and hopefully tomorrow might be a good stepping stone, maybe, because I think we've got most of the players back. It's an away day. We're bringing 800 people up to 800 fans up to the peninsula, so should be a good day.
And Ned, just on the last thought on transfers, both the guys have said about loan signings, and obviously Swindon historically have been well known for having good loan signings as well as bad ones. So if we've got two left, I think two left, as Rich said. What do you reckon there is a reason behind that? Are we holding out, or simply do you reckon there could be a chance that maybe Premier League clubs or Championship clubs just aren't giving them away at the moment?
Oh, it's a good point. I suppose there's still a lot of room, isn't there, for a lot more transfers in the Premier League. There's a lot of talked about transfers that haven't quite happened yet. So I guess there's probably an element of Premier League teams holding on to their really talented youngsters just in case that they can't get things over the line, or a player does go sort of towards the end of the window. However, I've got a little theory. I might be completely way off the mark, but I've got a little theory. It's not based upon anything, but I'm just, thinking, could it be that their whole, that this transfer of this striker hasn't progressed yet because they're waiting for the embargo to be lifted? So there could be a small fee involved. So I was thinking, perhaps there's an element of that, because it's something we desperately need. It's not a secret that we need a striker, and it's not a secret that Ghana wants a striker, but things haven't progressed along. I was thinking that's a possible explanation. And sorry to sort of chuck in a little bit of Ned report here, but I've
not a problem at all, Ned.
Love the Ned report.
There's I'm sure that there's a few people that have heard of this player just because they've had a bit of attention put their way, because apparently Man City have put a bit of interest in. But there's a striker in the conference for Solihull Moors.
The 6'8" guy.
That's it, yeah. Carl Hudlin. Yeah. Why not? Go for him. He's 6'9". I mean, he's like a cross between Carlton Palmer and Pierre Crouch, but I mean, he looks decent. He really does look decent. He's pretty good with the ball. Obviously, he doesn't need to jump when going for a header. But he's only 21 years old. I had a look. Got 9 goals in 34 appearances last season. He looks an actual talent, and no one's put in any form of transfer bid, for him so far. So maybe, it's that type of player that we're looking to put a cheeky little bid in for, possibly.
Yeah, I think that's a good chat. And I think I've been saying for a few years now that we should be taking a punt on more non-national league players, if you like. I mean, obviously that worked quite well for us last time. Well, one of the
Sort
last
of.
times. One
Yeah.
of the last times.
Really
Yeah. There was a couple that didn't work so well, but yeah. Okay, Ben. So, taking us away from transfers off the pitch, it's been a pretty boring week actually. We obviously saw Clem pouring pints, in front in the Merlin, in front of the social media gatherings again. How long do you think this social media stuff is going to last?
What do you mean with the social media? What, Clem's PR?
Yeah, so the PR. Do you think it could be? Do you think we're going a bit over? You might be going a bit over top with the PR campaigns now.
I think he's going to do it until I think he goes back to Australia next month. So I think he's going to carry it on, especially while he's trying to push for the 6K season tickets. I think he quite enjoys it as well. I think he quite likes the intention. I think he quite likes owning a football club, being like shaking hands and being held as a messiah. And he's paid for it, and I think he's enjoying it. And why not? So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. I've read other fans getting all a bit bitter and jealous, just saying what he's doing is tacky and cheesy, and you wouldn't find their owner doing it. Well, it's just he's reaching out, he's doing whatever he can, and he's trying to build a relationship between the fans and the club.
Exactly,
and good on him.
And as a bit of a disclaimer there, similar to the disclaimer that I had to put out last time, I'm not against it at all. I did agree. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Craig and Christian last time, who said that, sitting in with the fans, that should be just a one-off, because we all know how fickle fans can get. But engaging with the fans, we've probably been owed this for 6-7 years now. So it is reassuring to see. And he probably has to prove to his wife back home that he's actually working, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I can guess she's not particularly happy that he's not there. Rich, this week, I think the latest count was just over 4,000. Finance, when available this week, there seems to be a bit of more positive feedback than what there was last year on finance, even though we didn't have a season. Most importantly, are we going to hit that 6K figure?
No, simply because the finance system is shite, and I think you'll probably back that as well, Woody. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. It all depends. It all depends, really. I've not gone with finance this year, so I'm not really 100% sure whether or not people are going to get accepted for it, whether or not they're not going to get accepted for it. And I think that will be the defining factor. Do you know? Not everybody is able to pay a large amount of money for a season ticket every year, and this is why they go with the finance. And this is why they wait for the finance option. I've done it in previous years where I've not paid it outright, and I've gone on the finance option, and it's been all right, for me. But I know a few people that have had a few issues with it, and I think that might be the defining factor this year. It's ambitious. I think 6,000 was ambitious anyway. I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see it, but it's very difficult. However, though, having said all that, I still think we're going to have big attendances every game. And I think that's proven the last two games. I mean, we had 8,500 on a Tuesday night. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time we did that. Not even the last Tuesday night game before pre-pandemic, when we were top of the league. We played, it was it that we played? Was it Scunthorpe? 2-0, I remember. 2-0. Owen Doyle, I think, scored both of them. Even then, when we were at the highest of the highest, and we still didn't reach 8,500 on a Tuesday night. The club's back. The buzz is around. Everybody knows about it at the moment. Clem has been going out. He's been campaigning. Everybody knows in the town about Swindon Town. And that is why we're getting the big crowds that we are. We're getting the big crowds at home. We're getting the big crowds away. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to be a Swindon Town fan at the moment, and everybody wants to be there, whether or not we're winning, we're drawing, or we're losing. It's fantastic.
And Ned, I'll have one for you and then one for Ben on that. First, as well as your thoughts on whether we'll get to 6K. are we maybe? I know we signed Johnny fucking Williams, but are we maybe that just one? And sorry if your kids are around when I said that. But are we maybe one marquee signing away from maybe having just a few more coming into the gates as season ticket holders?
Well, it's supposed to be a big one, isn't it? It's supposed to be a big signing, whoever the striker is. So, I don't know. I mean, the difficulty with the season tickets, and I might be wrong on this, so you're probably the best person to sort of clarify the situation. But when, with all the spaces that are left, you've obviously got people buying tickets for the next game. So obviously, if the ticket's not available for the next game, then that's not available for season tickets either. So we're in a kind of like catch-22 situation where people want to buy a season ticket for a specific seat, but it keeps getting taken, so therefore they can't purchase that season ticket. Obviously, if this was all taken care of weeks before the season started, then obviously we would have massive numbers straight off. But I think there's going to be some difficulty in people getting the seats, getting the season tickets that they specifically want. And that's going to continue. And obviously, the further you go into the season, the less value it is, should we say, of getting the season ticket. So I think there's going to be a bit of difficulty with that aspect. But we're in such a good place at the moment. People are happy to keep purchasing tickets, season tickets that they probably a few seats away from where they really wanted to be. So
just to go back on a point on that, Ned, in regards to the seats, obviously we had a bit of an issue. Well, there was a bit of an issue when the finance option came out in regards to the availability of the seats, which was obviously a massive inconvenience to quite a few supporters. And I think it's been like that over the last few weeks when people have been trying to buy season tickets. Now, usually when the season tickets come out, they come out in stages. So your seat that you had the previous year only stays reserved for a certain amount of time, so like a month or something like that. Obviously, we haven't had those kind of guidelines this year, so we don't know whether or not the people that bought a season ticket last season, for obviously that I follow, they would have stayed in the same seat as they usually are. How long that seat's actually reserved for until somebody new can take it, because somebody might not be renewing their season ticket this season, and there might be somebody else that wants that seat, but they can't have it because that seat is locked to that or reserved for that person that isn't renewing. How long is that going to stay for? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of the confusion actually came from.
I think I agree, and to be honest, Rich, I'm one of those people. It's so it's quite an interesting one as well, because obviously last year, including myself, people were skeptical about whether to renew their season ticket because they didn't think we were having a season. So I didn't renew my season ticket last year. So my seat comes available. My old seat. So now I'm going in onto the thing, and I can't book it as a season ticket, but on the backflip of that, I can book it for Mansfield. So it's there is a little bit of, I guess there's a little bit of confusion there as well, but will it affect the numbers? Hopefully not. I don't, especially in the town end, I don't think that people are particularly fussy about where they, if they have to move along one seat or whatever. Ben, so I guess the question to you, 6K or not 6K?
Probably just a bit short at a guess, but it is hard to judge because of the finance options. You'd think normally that finance would be the biggest and best option, because some people, 2 adults and a kid, you're looking at 700 odd quid for a season ticket. Now, not a lot of people can pay that in one chunk, so the finance option is doable. So you'd think the majority would go, or half at least would go for the finance, but it seems to have started slowly. It's a tough call, really, whether we'll do it. I think everyone's made valid points. I think we'll just wait and see, to be quite honest. I've paid for mine outright. I've done that for the last few seasons. But yeah, I hope so, and maybe it may go near for, but I think anything above 5,000 is great. I think anything 5,000 for League Two, I think, is worldy, and I think we'll have big gates this season throughout.
Okay, and I'm going to put you all on the spot a bit here because we can't have a little guesstimate. We've got to have a little guesstimate for this episode. So obviously Tuesday, fantastic crowd. I thought in terms of 8.5. Saturday, over 9,000 Swindon fans because there was only about 200, if that, Carlisle fans. Average attendance. So I'm going to write these down and pass these on to Fyfie. What do we think in 46 games, or not even 46 now, but 43 games time? Where are we going to be at on our average attendance? Bradford are looking pretty good, but what are our figures going to be? Let's start with Rich.
Oh, put me on the spot.
Yeah,
but first time tonight. I think I would like to say we'll be, because there's not many grounds in the in League Two that have got a 15,000 seater stadium. I think Bradford are one of the ones, and they seem to be pulling in the crowds. They have done for years, so I think they'll be top. But I reckon we'll be up there within the top 3 or 4. I reckon, and I reckon we'll probably have around, hopefully, average attendance. Hopefully, we'll go up to about 8,000. I hope, but it's ambitious, I know as well. But say we did get the 6,000 season tickets, we would be hitting 8,000 every game, no doubt about it.
Ned?
So was this just league? This isn't including
just
cup.
league. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, looking at the attendance figures for the last one, we were second, weren't we, behind Bradford? And I think it's either going to be second or third, I think. And it all depends on how well you do in the season. Because obviously, if you get to the last 10 games and there's not much to play for, then attendance figures tend to sort of plateau off a little bit, doesn't it? But if we're doing well and we're up there possibly in the playoffs or something, then we'll be starting to pack them out, won't we? Like looking at 10 to 12,000. But yeah, I think you want exact figure?
Just give me an estimate.
Okay. I reckon about 8,200. 8,200 is my guesstimate.
And Ben, surely it's going to get into December, cold nights. Are we going to keep the high attendances?
If it's a good season, and then I think if we're pushing top 3, I'm saying 8,500. I think if we're not, then between 7,800 to 8,000.
Okay. Ben stole my figure there. I was going to say I think it will be 7,800 roughly for the season, I think. So I'm going to stick with that as well. I'll get Fyfie to include it on the chat to see if we can get a bit of a we're going to see, and when we come back at the end of the season, see where we're all at. I personally think that yes, we're getting great attendance at the moment, but I am also aware that I think when the cold nights start to settle in, it might be less appealing regardless of how we're playing. But as Ned said, as we get into the second half of the season, if we're playing for something, all of a sudden those crowds are 9 to 11,000. We had, what was it, nearly a full house against Exeter, and that was when nobody liked the regime. So brilliant, lads. So before I give us the Salford predictions, I just want to give a quick fixture post shout out. For Swindon Town women are in the National League this weekend away to Portishead, 2 p.m. kickoff. I'll make sure that we retweet the details for it. Again, I think Portishead came up this season, so it should be quite an interesting game. But if you can get along to it on Sunday, that would be great. If not, the development team are at home at Down Ampney FC to take on Bournemouth development. Obviously, the first team drew with Bournemouth's first team last week. So if you can get along, I don't know how much Portishead charge, but it won't be too much. And obviously the Devs game is free. Right, guys, so to finish us off, and I'm going to do a round of what you all think in terms of expectations of lineups and on all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of it, if you can give me your prediction as well in terms of what you think for Salford. At the moment, I'm thinking, Salford haven't started as well as I thought they would. I tipped them as one of the top 2 to go up. Mansfield are doing well, I think, in terms of the two that I thought would be to watch this year. They got a lot of money behind them. Is it too late? Ben, we'll start with you. Salford, thoughts, lineups, changes, score predictions. Ben's frozen in a. We'll see it. We'll jump to Ned until. Oh no! Oh, wait. No, we'll jump to Ned until Ben comes back. Ned, what are you thinking for this Saturday, tomorrow?
So just wanted to say a few things about their players to start off with. Have I taken myself off mute? I have. Right. I really like Josh Morris. I've watched him from afar. I really liked him at Scunthorpe. I thought he was always a real dangerous player, just banging massive amounts of goals from midfield. So I had a look at their stats: 107 appearances, 35 goals for Scunthorpe. I mean, he's a real danger. Obviously, Jordan Turnbull. We're all aware of Jordan Turnbull. I quite liked him. I'm not sure he was everyone's taste, but I really rated him. Conor McElhenney, he got 17 goals last year. He's another really, really good forward. Tyreek Wright.
Yeah, I think we should have signed him.
Yeah, he was on my radar before he got there on loan, unfortunately.
Should have signed him.
You're doing everybody else's work again, Ned. Just like Morgan. He was signed. I think it was on the day when they played Crawley. They signed him, or maybe did he play against Crawley? No, he hasn't. He hasn't played.
He didn't play against Crawley.
No, they must have been on the day then. But yeah, he's a great runner of the ball. He's really ambitious. He's for someone who's quite short. He's really good in the air. He's really dangerous. I can see him having a big game. But yeah.
He's been on loan as well. He was on loan at Walsall last year.
That's right, yeah, Walsall. That's right, yeah. Salford have got more forwards than we got midfielders. Just wanted to pop that in there. Ridiculous. They've got so many. But also wanted to make the point that, as we know from Gary Bowyer, just because he's got goal scorers doesn't mean that they can get the goals. He had Owen Doyle, and he couldn't get a tune out of him. So he's going to be chucked on the bonfire within the next few weeks because, such a poor return from their first, 4 league games. They got 3 draws and a loss. They shouldn't have got rid of Wellens, but there we go. So my prediction is a Swindon win. I think we're going to be winning 3 or 4 goals to 2. I think there's going to be quite a few goals. And I think, as we said before, I think we'll have Yandolo on the left, and I think we'll have Kessler on the right. And I think we're going to create so many chances. I think they've only got 3 registered defenders. We're going to run them bloody ragged. We're going to destroy them. Come on! No, I don't know about all the changes, but Kessler's back in, and I think Yandoli's on the left, and that's, for me, that's all you need to know, because we're going to score plenty of goals.
And one person missing there, Ben. Now you're back in with us. Do you think Johnny fucking Williams will get a start? And what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Johnny Williams will come off the bench again.
Yep.
I think he'll start football games again. He needs some game time. Hopefully he's had a behind closed doors game or something set up with him this week. But it's going to be a few weeks before we start seeing the best out of him. I think softly for a player like that, especially with a pretty poor injury record. Changes, I'm with Ned. I think the fullbacks will change. I think we'll have the Kessler Hayden right back and left back. I think Ian Dollar will get his game. Other than that, I think it'll be the same as. I think Gladwin will start off on the bench again. Score predictions. Well, I've not been like Ned. I don't do my research as in depth as him. I know that they are one of the favourites to go up. I don't know too many about the players. I know they start poorly. Been toying with the idea. I was thinking, know. It's going to be a tough one. I think I'm with Ned. I think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to run away with this all open goal thriller. I think we're going to do it 1-0 because Gary Bowyer's team be quite solid, tough to beat, incredibly dull to watch. And I think it's going to be a set play that wins it. And I think we're going to get it. But I think we're still going to dominate possession and be the better team, though. And we got a lot of pressure after Saturday.
And Rich, I've left you till last because I know you're going up there with the 800, or might even be more at that point. What are your thoughts? You know, everybody so far has said that Ellis will probably start. Obviously, Kessler Hayden coming in. Parsons for you?
Yeah, I think no, maybe not. I think maybe give him a bit of a rest. I mean, he's played, I think, pretty much every game. I mean, he played against Cambridge, played against he came on as a sub against Scunny. He played against Tranmere as well. So maybe he gets a rest. We've got plenty of rotation. I would like to see Johnny Williams start. I think it would be a game he would probably thrive to get back in and hopefully make an impact. Hopefully help us in the win. I reckon we will win. I reckon we'll win 2-1 maybe. I think. I disagree with Ben. I don't think it will be a set play that wins it. I think it will be a very open game. I think again we will dominate possession, or we will try and dominate possession, and we'll be getting the ball down the flanks. Hopefully Ndolo starting. Hopefully King Kessler will. I've no doubt that hopefully both of them will start. And I think, like Ned said, I think we will run them ragged tomorrow. Now, whether or not we can get that ball in the back of the net is the next thing, and I think that's maybe one thing we may struggle with. But you know, if the chances come our way, we've got to take him. We've got to take him tomorrow. I think I think it will be a very similar game to Scunthorpe. We'll start off maybe a step back or two, but then we'll grow into the game. And I think hopefully we will get the win tomorrow. I'm fairly confident, but I'm not too confident. I want to leave a little bit of space because I don't want to be disappointed tomorrow, and I don't want to be upset on the 3-hour journey home. So I'll touch him with that tomorrow. But no, I want us to win tomorrow, obviously, and I think we're more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to match your optimism there, Rich. Obviously, I'm not going. I'm a bit gutted because I did enjoy it the last time I went up there. But I think if there's a time that we're going to beat Salford, it's got to be now. You know, they've not started well to the season. I'm going to go with a 2-0. I'm going to back Simpson again. Just because I feel that I want to keep backing him. I think he will score tomorrow. I think it's going to come tomorrow. It might be that type of game for him. I actually think that maybe we will get the set piece and it will be from him. But you know, either way, I'm going to go with 2-0. Obviously, what we want is all the Swindon fans to comment on the thread, etc., to tell us what they think it's going to be. But that, if nobody else has got anything else to add, fellas, that brings us to the end. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, jump into Fyfie's grave too quickly again. I definitely prefer being in your seats, I think. But yeah, for all of those Swindon fans watching, if you are going tomorrow, enjoy the game, behave responsibly. Yeah, well done. Fantastic away support. Rich, I don't think you're going tomorrow, are you, Ben? I don't think.
No, not tomorrow.
Ned, you're not either.
No.
So just reach out of us. So those who are going tomorrow, have a great day, and from all of us, see you next time.